that feel today? Ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We made it! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We made it! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over.
All right, game is not over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E. Streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Also, got to give a big shout out to KYOK Sports. For those who don't know, I still provide sports content for KYOK, KWWJ, KCHL, KZZB, KGGR. And I'm saying that because for whatever reason, the Houston Texans' new media relations department person has decided that the JM&E, KWWJ, KYOK was not worthy of having media credentials this year. So we will not be covering the Houston Texans this year like I've done since, 2005. Very, very, very interested in finding out why all of a sudden KWWJ, KYOK were not worthy of covering the Texans this season. They got people covering the Texans, and I don't mind calling names, but they got people covering the Texans that don't even have platforms, that literally recently got fired from their respective stations and organizations, but yet they got media credentials. So I'm going to be sending this clip to Miss Lindsay so she can see what we do with the media coverage for the Houston Texans. We have a literal whole day where we talk about the Texans on Talk Your Team Tuesday. I used to have a segment called Team Texas Tuesday. And, I do a 10-minute phone call in to KYOK on Tuesdays to talk about the Texans from training camp. I do sports updates every single day, every single morning and afternoon, and we usually lead with Texans coverage. But I'm not giving our commercial airtime to an organization that doesn't have room for us. If you don't have room for us, you understand. You understand how these go. So have covered Super Bowls, have covered training camps. I mean, all of a sudden in 2023, we're not good enough. So, hey, good luck to them. I know they've got a lot of energy going around with head coach D'Amico Ryans. I know they got a lot of energy going around with quarterback C.J. Stroud. I'm just not going to focus the majority of our airtime on it. So I do have connections with other organizations. You'll see more New Orleans Saints coverage. You'll see more Las Vegas Raiders coverage. You'll see more Cincinnati Bengals coverage. I know if you're in the Houston area that's not what you're looking for, but I'm going to go where we've been given access to. So There we go. Lindsay, welcome to Houston. I know they brought you in from somewhere else. I hope you enjoy the city. I hope you take the time, though, to get to know stations that might not be as big as 610 and 790, but KYOK is if they're not the longest Black-owned, Black-operated radio station in the city, they're one of them. They're one of them. And KWWJ just celebrated 35 years of doing this. So long before you were born, these stations have been around, covering the Oilers, covering the Rockets, covering the Astros. And when we were forced to, root for a new team after Bud Adams took the Oilers out, it was the Houston Texans. I personally had PSL with the Houston Texans in 2002, 2003, and I started covering the team for KWWJ in 2005. So if I got to prove my work, I'm good. 40 years in radio, Lindsay, 40 years in radio, and been covering the Texans since 2005. And all of a sudden, we're not worthy enough. We're not worthy enough. Yeah. So wish y'all well. That's it on Texans Talk. Let me move to another organization. The Indianapolis Colts have made a definitive decision. They're going with Anthony Richardson as their starting quarterback for 2023-2024. After one preseason game, they decided that Anthony Richardson was the guy. And it makes sense. If you look at the organization, what did they do when they got Peyton Manning? They threw him in there. They didn't wait. They didn't put him behind somebody. They threw him in there, and he did not get off to a Hall of Fame start. But guess what he turned into? A Hall of Famer. So they're going to take their shot with Anthony Richardson. I think it's a great move. I've been saying the same thing about the Texans. They know what they're going to get out of Gardner Minshew. The Texans know what they're going to get out of Davis Mills. Davis Mills as a starter is 5-29-1. If you run him out there as a starter this season, you're saying a whole lot about winning for your organization. You're not about it. You're not about it if you're running 5-29-1 out there. Same thing with Gardner Minshew. If you run him out there, you already know what you're going to get. Running Anthony Richardson out there, though, gives you a whole lot of upside. Yeah, there's mistakes between the bottom and the top, but you got a quarterback who can make some plays, and you can find out if this is your quarterback of the future. So I'm really excited to see what Anthony Richardson is going to do regular season. This preseason stuff, you don't know if he's playing against ones, twos, threes, maybes. You don't know who they're playing against. Everybody went nuts about Davis Mills. Oh, he was almost perfect, and he threw a touchdown. He threw a pass that Tank Dell made a amazing catch on. That's what he did. But the dude is still 5-29-1. Can't change that. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna take a break. When I come back, we'll look at the preseason schedule coming up for this week. We'll be right back. Intellect, what's up, Noob? Kim Negrete, I see you there. Who else we got? Keith Hennick, what's up, bro? Erica with a K, good to see you. And again, we'll be right back right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. What do you get when you watch or listen to the Life Happens podcast? Well, I'll let them tell you.
Kim and I are both ministers of the gospel, and the Life Happens podcast is a beautiful balance by simply taking our spirituality with real life and merging it together to create a beautiful balance. And that's what we do.
BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens Podcast, where Christianity and life intersect. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central.
My name is JM&E, and I won $500 on the lunch money from the Keeping Up with the Joneses Bracket Challenge.
Hey, who wants to win 500s? You got a shot to do it this season with the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. No entry fee, no admission, no registration fee, none of the above. If you didn't play last year, you can play this year. All you got to do is pick more right than wrong over anybody for 18 weeks. You'll win $50 a week if you do that. And if you are in the top 6 after week 18, you'll have a chance to compete for $500 cash. And I mean it. You'll have a chance to win that. James Jeter won it in our basketball pick'em challenge. Miss Pearl won it in our football pick'em challenge. And you got a chance to win that coming up after week number 1. Week number 1, you'll get a chance to win your first $50. So stay locked, stay ready. You won't have to get ready, and we're about to do it in September. All right. All right. Intellect said, yes, no training like getting in the fire. Hashtag get forged. I think Anthony Richardson is going to be the better for it because of that decision. Same thing with Carolina. Bryce Young is the way to go. You can talk all you want about all these other quarterbacks and players and all that. Put Bryce Young out there. Let him get his, let him understand in live action what he needs to do. If I'm the Houston Texans, I'd be doing the exact same thing. There is nothing that Davis Mills can give the Texans more than C.J. Stroud, or hell, for that matter, Case Keenum. If you're going to start somebody, you want a veteran starter, then put Case Keenum out there. But don't run Mills back out there. I mean, please, your fans deserve better. So anyway, that's that. Let me look at this the schedule coming up. Look at the schedule coming up. Hang on one second. I didn't have it in front of me. I should have. I got all riled up about the media relations department from the Houston Texans. I was going to say something else to them, but I'm done. I'll send them the first part of this clip, and they can figure out what they want to do going forward. But I'm not applying for any of the game-to-games. I'm not doing that. Say what you want to say. Do I think I'm better than anybody else? No. After 40 years, I deserve to be able to pick and choose what I want to do, and I don't want to do that. So get somebody else to do it. All right, so Cleveland's going to take on the Eagles tomorrow night at 6:30 Central. That's going to be a good one. I wonder if we're going to finally see Deshaun and if we're going to see Mr. Jalen Hurts. So we'll see. That'll be tomorrow at 6:30 Central. Then Friday, you got the Bengals and the Falcons. Should be interesting. Want to see what the young quarterback looks like for the Bengals. Willie then chimed in. Hey, Willie. Willie said, nope, on the Deshaun. So we will not see Deshaun. Okay. When we going to see Deshaun? I got him having a big year this year. I mean, if there's such thing as players, a comeback player of the year from what he's coming back from, we'll see. Intellect said, share these messages. Let my mans in. This is my plug to the Texans. Intellect, I appreciate you, man. I'm going to put that in the clip. All right, Deshaun played last week, 11 plays. All right, so it's this week. Watch this. It's this week. Let him get some run. Some people down here that still rocks with Deshaun. I'm one of them. I know I'm about to get in trouble. I'm about to get canceled. But as a football player, I'm rocking with Deshaun. I want to see Deshaun get down. All right. So anyway, Bengals and Falcons on Friday at 6:30 Central. Panthers and Giants Friday at 6. I'm watching that. That's going to be on the NFL Network. I want to see what Bryce looks like. I want to see what Daniel Jones looks like. I'm not calling him Danny Dimes. What are they trying to get us to call him? I'm not calling him that. Just like when y'all went with Matty Ice, I never called him that. He was never Matty Ice to me. And look at him now. So anyway, I want to see what Daniel Jones and Bryce Young got going on. Then Saturday, we've got the Jaguars and the Lions. Still got the Jaguars and the Lions winning their respective divisions in their in the NFL. And then Dolphins and Texans, they're practicing. They practice today together. They're going to practice tomorrow together. No big brawls, no big ha-ha, hoo-hoo, what. So that's what that was. That'll be tomorrow. Saturday at 3. Bills and Steelers. If it was a regular season game, I'd be hyped. Preseason, talking about practice. What are we talking about? Practice, not the game. We're talking about practice. All right, Bears and Colts. Interesting. See what Anthony Richardson's done. Look, if Deshaun's not going to play, then Anthony Richardson should not play. Get Gardner Minshew. Let him do it. Titans and Vikings should be interesting. Malik Willis outplayed Will Levis in the first preseason game. Malik Willis outplayed Will Levis by a lot. In fact, Will Levis looked like I thought he was going to look. Very out of place, very off-kiltered, very predictable. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Cowboys and Seahawks, that should be interesting. Bucks and Jets, again, that quarterback battle down there in Tampa Bay. Go with the younger player, man. Go with the younger player. Y'all thank me later. You go with Baker if you want to, but go with the younger player. Just saying. Chiefs and the Cardinals, that'll be Saturday at 7. Patriots and Packers. Of course, we've got some news from the NFL with the running backs. I'll talk about that in a second. Broncos and 49ers at 7:30. I was just in Denver, and they are not hyped about Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Like the locals that I talked to, I didn't talk to everybody. The locals that I talked to really are on this Russell Wilson is washed. Like that's their whole thing. Like, oh, best years are behind him. Can't give us what we wanted. Do y'all remember that you won a Super Bowl with a quarterback who couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field? And, oh, yeah, Brock Osweiler filled in for like 5 or 7 of those games. So you won it with a half quarterback and a quarterback with one arm. You don't think you can at least get that out of Russell Wilson? Like, bruh, they are the ones I talk to now were down on Russ. So we'll see. I got Russ having a comeback year. I mean, literally, I feel like he's going to be an MVP candidate. That's just me. Maybe it's wishful thinking. Raiders and the Rams. Again, I'm going to be spending a whole lot more time covering the Raiders now that, I got time on my hands because I won't be running down there to the Texans games. I got a couple of homeboys that work in the front office with the Raiders, so I'll see what I can get done down there. And, oh, yeah, by the way, the Super Bowl is in Vegas this year, and I will see if I can't get to that. I got somebody very special working on that for me. Thank you. And then Sunday night, you got the Saints and the Chargers. Jameis Winston looked good. Jameis Winston looked real good. Like, for real. If I'm Tampa Bay, I like swallow a little pride and see if we can't get Jameis back because he's better than both of those quarterbacks they got down there combined. And then Monday night, you got the Ravens and the Commanders. I understand that they had a big brawl today, and they're practicing together, and they out there brawling. They're out there brawling. All right, let me get to some of these comments. All right, we already heard Willie saying that Deshaun played last week, 11 plays. Again, I got him balling this year. I got him balling out this year. Intellect, right? We're looking at the football aspect. Damn his freaky practices. LOL. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. I ain't getting into that. I have no opinion about it. I'm a hush. I'm just gonna sit here and eat my food. Keith Hennick said you're 100% correct in Tampa. They what's the saying? If you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. They don't have one. Intellect, they're wrong. Russell and Sean will shock them. Watch. I agree. And again, one person I talked to admitted, I'm not a football fan. I don't really do sports, but, from the Russell Wilson I saw back then to the Russell Wilson I see now, there's no coming back for that all. And that's kind of a truth. I doubt if he's going to recreate what he was in his prime at Seattle. I don't think that's going to happen. But I also don't think that you're going to see the uncertainty and the discombobulation that they had under their previous head coach, which, according to the quarterback god, we're not allowed to say his name. We got to keep his name out of our mouths. Nathaniel Hackett sucked last year. Aaron Rodgers, and I don't care if you love him intimately, he sucked. He was a horrible head coach, and he almost cost that man his career. So I'm expecting Russ to bounce back now that he's got a legitimate head coach who knows what he's talking about, who knows what he's doing in there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, yeah, Sean. Yeah, I knew who you meant. All right, so let me take a break. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Shout out to KWWJ, AM 1360 and FM 96.9. Shout out to KYOK, AM. Did I draw a blank on the call? AM 1140 and FM 92.1, both in Houston.
If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets. There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
When the man said that Sharifa Barksdale is on the verge, she's getting ready to set the world record. And I lost concentration and I fall off that hurdle. I was devastated.
Posición game ball de Canadá, dominando la prueba, y la estadounidense Sharifa Barksdale está en.
When I fell over that hurdle, it ended my career. And then all of a sudden, my coach grabs me by the throat. And I was going through some paperwork and seeing that he had spent 10 years in prison. And I was just like floored. It turned to domestic violence. I was terrified. So if I left, I don't know if I was going to die. My family didn't know if they was going to get a phone call to say that Sharifa was dead.
8910 radio, I said a vehicle took a shot at me. Southbound on East 95th.
Broke the U.S. record in the 400-meter hurdles. Represented the United States of America.
Imagine being on the biggest, fastest roller coaster that you have ever been on. That's the way my life was for 20 years.
I never had no trouble out of her being what she wanted to be. Because if this is what she wanted to be a runner, well, God bless her, and he did.
The lunchman from the Keeping Up with the Joneses Bracket Challenge.
All right. That's right. You get a chance to win $500 cash with the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. That's the one we do for football. You got a chance to win $50 for 18 weeks in a row if you're that good. And at the end, if you are in the top 6, you get to compete for those $500 cash. In fact, let's play a little game. I want to go ahead and pick some of these games, these preseason games for this week. And these are hard to pick because you don't know how long the starters are going to play. You don't know, how guys who may not ever be on the team again going to play. So that being said, I've got the Eagles over the Browns. I've got the Falcons over the Bengals. I've got the Panthers over the Giants. Jaguars over the Lions. I've got the Texans over the Dolphins. Bills over the Steelers. Bears over the Colts. Titans over the Vikings. Cowboys over the Seahawks. Jets over the Buccaneers. I got the Chiefs over the Cardinals. Patriots losing to the Packers. I've got the Broncos over the 49ers, just to be contrary. I've got the Raiders over the Rams. Saints over the Chargers. And I've got the Ravens over the Commanders. So there you go. Those would be my picks if this was our Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. Got to talk a little baseball. Astros got back in the win column. Kyle Tucker did it again. That young man is on fire. Kyle Tucker hit another home run along with Yadier Diaz and Chas McCormick. Astros beat the Marlins 6-5. They'll try to go at it again today, 5:40 Central, against the Marlins. Justin Verlander looking for his second win since joining the Astros. And I stick by what I said. Somebody corrected me. Hey, the team to beat in baseball right now are the Braves and the Orioles. No, dog, I'm telling you right now, Orioles are going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to win the AL East. The Rangers are the team to beat in the American League. The Orioles might have a better record, but God, dog, have you looked at that Rangers lineup? Look at that lineup and look at that pitching staff. And I'm an Astros fan. The Rangers and the Orioles, okay, I'll give it to you. But the Rangers, to me, have the edge. And Atlanta and the Dodgers are the two teams for me in the National League. So, the Astros got some work to do. If they're going to catch the Rangers, they got work to do. If they're going to get up in the top 2 of the American League, they got some work to do. But right now, I'm going Rangers over Orioles. I'm going Atlanta over the Dodgers, but I'm more leaning towards the Dodgers. All right. And then we got preseason basketball coming up. Preseason NBA basketball coming up, and it starts on October the 5th. October the 5th, first preseason NBA game. Dallas Mavericks are going to visit the Minnesota Timberwolves. On Saturday, October 7th, you got Mavericks and Timberwolves again, and Lakers and Warriors make their first preseason action on October the 7th at 7:30. Sunday, October the 8th, 76ers, that's going to be a blank show, versus the Celtics. Kings versus the Raptors. And there you go. So October 7th is when NBA preseason action gets started. All right, y'all, I got to do this. I got to go. So as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it except meet us here tomorrow for another Houston Round Ball Review Takeover. It's going to be great. Don't miss it. Tune into it. I'll be traveling, heading over to Memphis to pick up an award this weekend. So thank y'all for who've been praying for my traveling grace. Check this out. I'm receiving awards. I'm receiving national awards, but I can't get credentials to the local Houston Texans. I'm going to let that sink in. That's going to make sense to somebody on their way home, as we preachers say. All right, y'all. Y'all take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Wednesday, August 16th, 2023. Number 1. Donald Trump is now under indictment for the 4th time in as many months following a late Monday night announcement in Atlanta, GA. The former president is charged along with 18 others, including close associates, accused in a wide-ranging conspiracy to overturn Georgia's 2020 election. In presenting the case, DA Fani Willis alleged that the actions taken by Donald Trump and associates in trying to overturn the 2020 Georgia election amounted to criminal conspiracy. Number 2. President Joe Biden's campaign is making a strategic case for Vice President Kamala Harris's position on the Democratic ticket. In a memo obtained by ABC News, the Biden campaign emphasized Ms. Harris's role as a prolific fundraiser and her connection with the Democratic voting base, considering her critical to their re-election success in 2024. The memo highlights Harris's positive marks among specific groups important to the Biden-Harris coalition, like non-white voters and low-income Americans. Number 3. When used for health reasons, DNA testing is utilized to give specific information so you can make decisions about your and your family's health and medical care. Genetic tests during diagnosis helps to identify potential health problems during treatment to determine which therapy is best for you, and in the recovery phase to assess how you are responding to treatment. Our partners at BlackHealthMatters.com give us a few reasons why we should get genetic testing in the What You Need to Know newsletter. Number 4. In an exclusive interview with People magazine, entertainer Wayne Brady opened up about his sexuality, telling the world he is pansexual. Brady added the pan means being able to be attracted to anyone who identifies as gay, straight, bi, transgender, or gender non-binary, being able to be attracted across the board. The interview unveiled that a reality TV show focused on Brady's family will be coming out soon, centered around his blended family. Number 5. Denicia Goodner is a 17-year-old young woman who has been missing from Madison, Tennessee since August 6. She did not return home after her shift at Zaxby's, located at 2228 Gallatin Pike North in Madison. That was Sunday, August 6th. She was last seen wearing black pants, a blue Zaxby's uniform shirt, and black shoes. Anyone with information on this young woman's disappearance, please go to the Black and Missing Foundation website. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Being open is letting go of your attachment to being right. So inhale being open, exhale being closed. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedian extraordinaire Myra J. and LGBTQ+ activist Quinn Townsend Riley as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Black Health Matters. Barbara Scotia College, an HBCU in Concord, North Carolina, needs our help. The What You Need to Know team is asking our supporters and alumni and friends of Barbara Scotia to help them meet their immediate and pressing needs by donating to help Barbara Scotia rise. Please join the thousands of donors from around the world who are stepping up to save one of the nation's oldest HBCUs. Just visit SybilWilkes.com for more information. And check this out, a celebration of Black filmmakers rooted in the HBCU culture. It's happening November 10th through the 12th at Howard University's Blackburn Center. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
My name is JM&E, and I won $500 for lunch money for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.